when it comes to radio telescopes, what's so amazing about these instruments in particular is that you can use telescopes in different parts of the world, separated thousands of kilometers from one another, and they can work in concert to actually simulate one giant telescope. So in the case of the Event Horizon Telescope, they have multiple sites all around the world, including at the South Pole in Antarctica. And so they combine all the data from these different telescopes. It's a huge amount of data, 3.5 petabytes of data go into making this one image. And there's no internet hardwire from the South Pole. So they literally take these hard drives and ship them across the world, bring them all into one place and correlate the data with a supercomputer. So this is, what's called very long baseline interferometry. We've been doing it for decades, but really this is, sort of the crowning achievement of that technique.
I mean, as someone who has watched the movie Interstellar and, other sci-fi kind of classics, perhaps of older times, I already feel like I have a pretty good idea what a black hole looks like. Why is this image a big deal? Didn't we already have an idea what it looked like? And how is this photo, which, to all appearances looks like quite a blurry photo of a black hole, how is this going to help?
Sure, yeah. So theory, in many cases in astronomy, really can get way out ahead of us. So you mentioned Interstellar before. They had a famous physicist, astronomer, Kip Thorne, who worked on that film to produce the image that we saw. And so, they've been able to predict what these things should look like. But theory is always just one piece of the puzzle, right? We always need the observational side to come in and make sure that the theory really all checks out. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not really right. And this was really an incredibly challenging image to make. So this group, the Event Horizon Telescope's really a consortium, astronomers from all over the world, 13 different institutions, including Academia Sinica here in Taiwan. Actually, we have a lot of astronomers here that worked on this. It's challenging because it's exceptionally small on the sky. You can imagine if there was a piece of fruit like an orange on the surface of the moon, and how small that would appear to us here on the Earth. That's basically the size of this black hole at the center of the galaxy, exceptionally small. And in this case, it's also changing its appearance on the order of a few minutes. It's rapidly changing. So you can imagine trying to take a clear picture of a spinning wheel or a ceiling fan or something like that. When the object is changing its image rapidly, how do you get a clear image? So this was very challenging. You mentioned that it looks kind of blurry, and it is, but really it's still just the most amazing image that we can possibly get, and it's going to be a long time before we can improve on this. You can take a little more data, might be able to do a little bit better, but this just is far and away better than anything that we've seen, but for one of these supermassive black holes that we observed a couple of years ago. I mean,
that brings me on to my next question, which is that when I saw this headline, I was kind of, I had deja vu. I almost thought I was like, have I not seen this? Has it not happened already? Because we saw headlines, I think it was 3 years ago. And those were, I obviously went back and checked that the first ever picture of any black hole, well as this one is in the Milky Way. I mean, why is that significant? And why, what can this picture teach us that the other one can't?
Well, actually, these images, the folks that have been working on this are saying they actually look quite similar. So it's a nice confirmation of what we expect to see. But, more broadly, when we are studying these things, you really want to do a compare and a contrast. I mean, you can imagine trying to understand everything about humanity by studying a single human being. You'd probably get a lot wrong, right? There's a lot more to understand about the universe or anything if you are able to look at a population.